Thank you. Please stay standing as we welcome Tiffany Allendog, who will be singing the national anthem. Thank you. You may be seated. And thank you, Tiffany. It was beautiful. So welcome. Graduates, family, friends, faculty, and our COD administrators to the pinning ceremony for the fall nursing class of 2021. This first back to in-person pinning is pretty special. The pinning ceremony is traditionally a rite of passage for nursing, and this class certainly deserves to be celebrated, and we are here to celebrate their completion of the associate degree in the nursing program here at the College of DuPage. So I'd like to moment to also thank individuals for their leadership and support during these unprecedented times. Dr. Brian Caputo, President of the College of DuPage, Dr. Mark Curtis Chavez, Provost of the College of DuPage, Dr. Lisa Stock, Assistant Provost of Instruction, Mr. Jim Bente, VP of Planning and Institutional Effectiveness, Dr. Diana Del Rosario, Assistant Provost of Student Affairs. We have here with us Mr. Walter Johnson, Vice President of Institutional Advancement, Ms. Wendy Parks, VP, Public Relations, Communications and Marketing, Ellen Roberts, Vice President of Administrative Affairs, and here with us, Dr. Jared Dean, Dean of Nursing and Health Sciences. I'd also like to thank our COD staff members who have played an integral role in the students' progression in our nursing program. We have Jeff Heller, our current nursing program support specialist, Jennifer Shavola, a former nursing program support specialist who's been with this class, Ms. Pamela DiNucci, administrative assistant. We have with us Melissa Erickson, simulation and lab manager, Christy Calderera and Linda Henson, our simulation technicians, and Becky Barnes and Janelle Walker, our lab assistants. A special thank you then goes to my co-chairs, Professor Dr. Lorinda Dixon, and who is here with us, Professor Dr. Janice Miller. I'd also like to thank our adjunct faculty and our full-time faculty, Julie Alvin, if you could wave, Sarah Bourne, now Dr. Sarah Bourne, Rosa Colella Melky, who's in the back, Dr. Lorinda Dixon, who can't be with us today, Julie Garcia, Donna Canick, Ann Copel, Melissa McGovern, Dr. Janice Miller, who's hiding in the back, and Katie Taylor. And then, of course, a sidebar to this, we cannot have or plan a day like this without all the efforts. So a shout out and a round of applause, please, to our media and facilities team in the back. We have Mr. Corey Kyle, Joe Loreza, and his team. We had Chris, Sal, Danny, Angela, and Perry here today, who is making this day special. So thank you for your assistance for this pinning ceremony being put on. So now I have to take a minute to share a brief history of nursing and the nursing pinning tradition. Florence Nightingale, named for the city for which she was born in 1820, Florence, Italy, was an English nurse who trained and led staff nurses during the Crimean War in the mid-19th century. She worked to improve sanitation in hospitals, identifying the distinct correlation between cleanliness and improved health. In the end, these practices, which she implemented, reduced the death toll by 2/3. As a result of her influence, the importance of nurses' training was recognized, and hospitals began developing nursing programs. Known as the Angel of Crimea, Florence Nightingale was awarded $250,000 by the British government, which she used to establish St. Thomas Hospital and the Nightingale School of Nursing in London. Graduate nurses of the Nightingale School were awarded a badge with a Maltese cross as they completed their studies. Schools of nursing evolved, and eventually each school of nursing designed and awarded a customized pin to its graduates. In the U.S., the first pin presented to a graduating class occurred at Bellevue Hospital in New York City in 1880. Today, our graduate nurses will receive the COD nursing pin, the same pin that continues to be worn by graduates of the COD nursing program for nearly 50 years. We also then acknowledge COD nursing graduates who have returned to teach at the College of DuPage, who consists of Professor Rosa Colella Melky, Professor Dr. Janice Miller, and Professor Dr. Anita Saravanan. Now, later in this ceremony, nursing graduates will also join with all other registered nurses here today to recite in the Nightingale Pledge, which unifies all nurses. Now I invite nursing graduate Genevieve Oka, chosen by her class, to give the student class address.
Welcome, everyone. It's an honor to celebrate with you today, especially in person. From first semester all the way until now, we have struggled, cried, and laughed together on our journey through nursing school. And I remember I was still a terrified incoming first semester student, and I was holding my steering wheel and sitting in my car thinking, what did I just get myself into? And after speaking with many of you, I think we can all agree that this was one of the hardest journeys that we have had to navigate, but also the most rewarding. So with that being said, there are 3 special groups I would like to pay homage to. Our professors who have taken us under their wings and helped us grow and become into the nurses we are today. Our families who have encouraged us since day one and have been there for us every time we were close to giving up. And most importantly, you all, my peers. Each and every one of you have sacrificed so much to be here. So to begin, the class would love to extend their gratitude to the faculty of the College of DuPage Nursing Program. On March 13th of 2020, the world shut down. Overnight, we went from in-person classes in a virtual classroom set into being enrolled into Zoom University. Likewise, just as we students had to adjust to learning in a virtual classroom setting, all of you professors had to adjust to teaching in one. But despite this unexpected change, you have worked relentlessly to support us. You adapted and surpassed any expectations as you went above and beyond for us. When all else failed, you always had a backup plan that never let us down. No matter the setting, it is through your guidance that we were enabled to grow. And most importantly, you taught us how to think and act like a nurse would. Not only have you given us the knowledge to succeed as nurses, but you believed in us when we may not have believed in ourselves. You have inspired us, and without your encouragement and teachings, we would not be here today. You have helped us to become the best nurses we can possibly be. You have brought to life the saying, see one, do one, teach one. And for that, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And next, I want to take this time to thank our families and friends who have supported us through thick and thin. When we moved our learning into a virtual format, it was our living rooms that became our classroom and kitchen tables that became our desk. Thank you for taking over us at home when it was exam week and eating and sleeping patterns were sacrificed. Thank you for dealing with our moods when we bit your head off on accident from the stress overload. And thank you for letting us practice our head to toes on you when you just wanted to get some sleep. It was you all who truly saw every minute, every second of our pursuit of this dream. You were the ones who supported us when we were close to giving up. And while talking with some of my peers, someone told me, I do it for them. I do it for my kids, my husband, my family. So for many, you are the reason some of us have pursued nursing in the first place. We all know we would not be here today if it were not for only your words of encouragement, but your actions that supported us every second of the way. I know you all would have given anything to be here today with us in this room. We all hope so as well. But we know that while you are not here physically, you are all watching right now, supporting us from afar, and cheering us on like you always have been. But I know the graduates wish they could thank you themselves. Therefore, I want to take this moment to ask you students to turn to the camera up to the front. I've asked the camera to pan over all the graduates. So please, all of you here today, wave to the cameras, yell out your gratitude to them. They're watching and waving back right at you right now. Yes, go ahead, wave to them. To my own family watching right now, surprise, hi mom, hi dad. Just as a message, maraming salamat po sa aking mga magulang, yung ate ko, si Mama Lulu, at si Monique, at yung lolo ko sa pagsuporta at tiwala sa akin, kahit hindi ako naniniwala sa sarili ko. At una sa lahat, maraming salamat sa Diyos na Jehovah po. To our families and friends, we have hoped that we have made you all proud today. With that being said, can we please give a round of applause to our families and friends out there? Thank you. So of course, most importantly, the graduates, right? Now, if there's anything I can say about this cohort, is that everyone here has got heart. All of you have sacrificed so much and thrived in the face of adversity. So I want to take some time to honor your perseverance and share your strength. Some of you have had to overcome a language barrier. Many of you had to work full-time to support yourself and your families. Some have even returned to school after many years to pursue their dream of becoming nurses. One student has been working towards becoming a nursing student for almost 10 years. And on the other hand, for some, you will be first-generation college graduates in your families. Other students may have had to overcome both mental and physical illnesses. One student was actually hospitalized for some time during this program and still persevered and never missed class, and most importantly, her joy was still present. Many of you have also lost loved ones who would have given anything to be here today for you. Not only have we lost the ones closest to us, but some were even affected by natural disasters and have lost their homes and all their personal belongings. Yet none of you ever gave up. And almost half of our cohorts are parents who juggle the full-time student workload and strive to be the best example for their children. 3 of you have actually had newborns in the program. Interestingly enough, it was during the mother-baby course that you welcomed a little one into your family. One mother was induced the day after the final, and another mother and very close friend of mine went into labor on the day of our final. I blame the stress. And after giving birth to the cutest baby girl, she was discharged over the weekend, was able to take her final, and was still there the next day when we started a new course. That type of strength is astounding. Parents, your children thank you for sacrificing some sleep and perhaps some sanity to provide for them. You've inspired them more than you know. But the greatest obstacle that connects all of us graduates here today is that we have all faced, in some shape or form, our own self-doubt. That tiny voice in your head that made you anxious about your abilities, the mental breakdowns that made you want to quit. You may have even questioned if you were worthy to become a nurse. But despite all of these thoughts, you stared at self-doubt in the eye, you validated your feelings, and then you let go. You told yourself, well, I'm going to try at least. And those efforts, that willingness to try despite your exhaustion, is the epitome of beauty in my eyes. And look where you are today. But the thing about doubt is that it doesn't leave us alone. We will be tested in the field as we truly understand the severity of our life-saving work and what it means to serve others. It will challenge us mentally and emotionally. So when you feel yourself burning out or when you start to doubt yourself and question everything, I want you to remember today. I want you to remember all that you have gone through, as it was your perseverance and courage to overcome the adversity that got you through. Not only should you remember how you got to this point, but I want you to remember why you are here today, why you became a nurse in the first place, and know that your heart and amazing souls will do great things to make a difference every single day. But don't forget to take care of yourself too. There is no doubt that the strength you all hold is intangible. It is your resiliency and tenacity that has helped you to surpass all of these trials and tribulations on top of a worldwide pandemic. In doing so, you have inspired myself, each other, and those you love. So we will now be joining a new perspective as we become baby nurses during the pandemic. May we never become complacent and keep asking questions and learning. And as we achieve our goal of finishing nursing school, let us make a new goal to be not only a great nurse to our patients, but an impactful one. I've always found it interesting that the human body can survive with a dysfunctioned brain, but cannot live without a strong heart. Likewise, I realize that while critical thinking is essential, the greatest attribute that cannot be taught is compassion and empathy. And as many of the faculty have reminded us, treat your patients as if they were your family members. Beautiful words that I implore you to remember are those spoken by Maya Angelou, and it is that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Nursing is both an honor and a responsibility. You have the power to save a life with not only your actions, but your words too. It will be your strength and compassion that will drive you to advocate for your patients. Even if we have been virtual for the majority of our time together, we have worked side by side through Zoom and in person throughout these 2 years. It was those exams and perhaps a random needle stick injury here or there while practicing injections that encapsulates the statement that we put in our blood, sweat, and tears in this program. When one of us was discouraged, we were there for each other. And as we hold this sense of camaraderie close to our hearts, never forget to advocate for yourself too and your future fellow nurses who will stand beside you. Never be hesitant to ask for help, and most importantly, to offer it. And as together, we rise as one by lifting others. All of you are amazing individuals, and I have no doubt in my mind that you will be the type of nurse that makes a true difference. Going back to when we were scared first semester students in our nursing orientation, we have come a long way. And I don't know if you all remember, but during the last few minutes of that orientation, we were instructed to do something. We were each given a Post-it note, and on these Post-it notes, we wrote our names and the letters RN after it. We were instructed to put it somewhere visible so we do not lose sight of our goal of becoming a nurse. Now, you may have physically lost this exact Post-it. You didn't lose sight of your goal. You inspired others, you remained focused, and you put in the work. And today, pending passing NCLEX, of course, this goal becomes a reality. It has been an honor to get to know you. I cannot wait to see all that you do. Congratulations to the Fall 2021 graduates, the new registered nurses. Thank you. And now I have the honor and privilege to introduce the person who has gone above and beyond for our class, the person that embodies the word genuity, as she cares for us not only as students, but as persons with dedication that matches her own. Also chosen by our cohort, please welcome Professor Judy Carino to speak on behalf of the Fall 2021 Graduates Faculty Address.
So class, Fall 2021, you did it! I really wanted to start out by asking my third semester students, fourth semester is fair game too, you know, when in the face of like management of anxiety, what are the classification of medications utilized? A, SSRIs, B, benzodiazepine, 3, MAOA inhibitors, and 4, antipsychotics. Select all that apply. So if you got that right, it should have been the SSRIs and the beta blockers, which I probably should have taken one. But how do I follow that? Thank you, Ms. Genevieve. I usually feel a little jitters beforehand, and however, I think that the atmosphere in here among this class really just takes that all away. This feels full circle in so many ways, as who would have imagined that when we shut down back in March 2020, that would ever come to this point where we're able to come back together and have the first in-person pinning since the shutdown. I think it's pretty special. You must make a choice to take a chance to make a change. You work so hard on so many levels. You have lived to make your dream become a reality in your life. So for many of you, this dream is right here, right now. Finishing up nursing school right in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. And as I reflect on how I watched this class grow together in solidarity, there is comfort and peace knowing the strength that you've gained and the motivation and ambition to do better every day. New beginnings require a new mindset. So the words of wisdom I wish for you to take away will be centered around the theme of having faith in your story. Many of you started off with just that dream to finish nursing as one of the most well-respected professions in the world. Shortly after, you found yourself sticking tubes of stuffed animals, practicing your skills on family members and each other, fighting for every real and human moment to connect and learn in a manner that just makes sense to you. Suddenly, the magic number of hitting that 78% test average to pass a course just got complicated. Everything seemed so much harder, so much more complicated, taking so much more time. Some of you found yourselves only needing to be camera ready from the waist on up to those with children at home, screaming and hearing the words, hungry and snack every hour, to trying to take exams under construction around you, screaming children or other family members who've been trying to understand what it must be like with the stakes so high. The traditional way of learning now has fast forwarded to the future of remote learning with moments of telling people how they're muted on Zoom, to let me share my screen, to taking double the time to learn and understand something. Then the stress sets in, Your anxiety rises and you tell me I've gone from mild to panic in 3.5 seconds. And the question in your mind that you've asked many times over and asked many of us is, are we going to be okay? And the truth of the fact is, you were adapting and learning how to cope with the new norm. And you're here today. I believe in faith that things happen on many levels for many different reasons. You've been set up now to deal with a new set of problems in the world of healthcare, and we have faith that you will all rise to the challenge. You have been resilient to overcome all that you have been given, and we're ready to release you so you can do the work that you were meant to be, as you were worthy to be here because you earned your place here. Do not let anything or anyone ever have you question that. To answer your question, it really depends on the reflection you have for yourself. What's your story? Why are you here? What are you afraid of? And what will you do in the face of that fear and uncertainty? When the whole world was struck by fear and uncertainty, this class just kept going, just like everyone else. However, the most unique thing I have seen in this class is how cohesive you are together on many levels. All I ever hear is, how can I help you? What can we do? What do you need from me? And there was never a moment I heard, I can't. And when I did, it was turned around with a positive faith to, yes, I can, or a can-do attitude, because we're always cheering you on, reminding you how much you really know more than you think you know yourself, how much the stories you make up in your head, the doubts that set in, and the uncertainty that feels so real is a disservice to you, that you deserve the very best, and you've given yourselves the very best, and to be the best that you can be. And I remember saying to you, let's get this one, everyone build community, let's get it done, and help everyone get to the next round of completion. And here you are, together. At the height after COVID was set in for the governor's mandate for COVID vaccination, we all knew the stances and the opinions that were out there. The timeline of these mandates were set forth, just put set back for a few people in terms of getting back on track in the timeline. Where I saw the class come together was a great defining moment when many of you said to me, do you know my peer situation? Because if there's anything I can do, any one of us will give up our spot for that person. And that is heart. Where you needed to advocate for each other, you came with steadfast intentions to fight for what is right. That is integrity. Where many of the adverse experiences occurred among your peers, as outlined by Genevieve earlier, you picked up and said, how can I help and what can we do? And that is teamwork and collaboration and love for each other. These are not always the things that you can teach anyone, because you already innately have it. Yes, you have it in you to be the most amazing self and amazing nurse you can be. Just as your faculty and staff have worked hard for you, we are here to serve you and see you to success. That is our duty, and that will always be our duty. Thank you to your family and friends for the unwavering support. We too understand how much this has all been challenging to you in your own ways. So now we are setting them free back to you to reach new heights. So remember, these are just things, events that are time-stamped in your history of your lifetime to prepare us to serve in a diverse community that needs you more than ever now. So in the face of uncertainty or fear, I want you to remember what you've done to get here. I want you to remember what you did to get each other through, and I want you to remember how you cared for one another unrelentlessly, never giving up on the dream and the end goal in mind. And this is what I want you to remember when you face each soul, each patient, each family, because the vulnerabilities in your hands have just as high as the stakes as you were when you were faced with the uncertainty of how you got here. Now you're here, and here you choose. What chances do you take? How do you execute them? In the future is a legacy and a story you will write for yourself. And remember that underneath each surface is a story that has been untold, a story that needs to unfold, and a story waiting to be heard. Seek for it, seek to understand it, And your uncertainty will give you a whole entire meaning in the work that you will do from here on out. And it'll give you a whole entire freedom to be who you need to be, which is your very best self. So what is your story? Because now you get to create it. Thank you. Congratulations to you, Class Fall 2021. At this time, I invite Associate Professor Donna Canick for Alpha Delta Nu National Honor Society induction, and names will be read by Dr. Sarah Bourne.
Good morning, everyone. Just a couple of words about the Honor Society for Nursing. The Road chapter of Alpha Delta Nu Nursing Honor Society was chartered at the College of DuPage in 2012 on September 24th. Criteria for being a member of the Honor Society includes an overall GPA of 3.0 or greater for courses in the AAS degree for nursing, earning minimally a B in all nursing courses, being in good standing in the nursing program. Upon acceptance of the invitation to join Alpha Delta Nu, each candidate additionally agreed to complete 8 hours of community service. This semester, students have fulfilled their hours in a variety of ways, including Oktoberfest DuPage Health Fair, Young Hearts for Life, and serving within our own COD nursing community by being a mentor in our new peer mentorship program, as well as serving as the student representative on various nursing faculty committees this month, that meet each month. I'd like to take just a quick moment and acknowledge and thank our Honor Society officers for their leadership. Please give a wave when you do that, or stand when I read your name. Co-presidents Cindy Wen and Genevieve Oka, Vice President Gabrielle Messinas, and Secretary Denise Jimenez. Now, I want to congratulate and recognize the accomplishments of our 10 outstanding students, the members of the College of DuPage Alpha Delta Nu Row Chapter for the fall 2021.
Genevieve Oka. Cindy Wen. Gabby Messinas. Denise Jimenez. Lila Huck, who was unable to be with us today. Emily Kuchera. Viviana Martinez. Candy Reiser. Mariela Sosa Kim. And finally, Lindsay Woodward, who was unable to be with us today.
Let's give a round of applause to the Alpha Delta Nu Honor Society recipients. Thank you. You may be seated. Now we're going to transition over to the Student Nurses Association. The National Student Nurses Association's mission is to mentor students preparing for initial licensure as registered nurses and to convey the standards, ethics, and skills that students will need as responsible and accountable leaders and members of the profession. Founded in 1952, the National Student Nurses Association is a nonprofit organization for students enrolled in associate, baccalaureate, diploma, and undergraduate nursing programs. It is dedicated to fostering the professional development of nursing students. These young ladies and gentlemen were elected by their classmates to lead and represent the class. Besides contributing to planning this day, they each had to complete 8 volunteer hours of service to the community, which included a scholarship fundraiser, Oktoberfest, assisting your peers or personnel in the Open Skills Lab, and the Toys for Tots fundraiser. Core values that Student Nurses Association strive to model after the National Student Nurses Association include advocacy, leadership and autonomy, professionalism, care, diversity, and quality education. These following graduates will be recognized as a Student Nurses Association board officer and as a part of being the Nursing Association, Student Nurses Association. Names will be read by Dr. Sarah Bourne.
Cameron Utria Ramirez. Genevieve Oka. Denise Jimenez. Matthew Eideller. Gabby Messinas. And Lindsay Woodward, who is unable to be here today.
Congratulations and a round of applause for the Student Nurses Association Board. At this time, we have a very special celebration to present the Daisy Award to a graduate that exemplified the Daisy Foundation's Daisy Award for Extraordinary Nursing Students, which was created to recognize and celebrate nursing students for the above and beyond care and compassion shown to patients and their families. In addition, students must demonstrate commitment to care and compassion and make the nurse-patient connection that makes a difference in the healthcare experience. We're going to give you a little bit of background recorded by the co-founder of the Daisy Award Foundation.
Hello, my name is Bonnie Barnes, and I'm one of the co-founders and Chief Executive Officer of the Daisy Foundation. I'm delighted to have a moment to share with you why we at Daisy are so passionate about the work that nurses do and the work that I hope all of you will be doing when you are indeed practicing as a nurse. Let me start by introducing you to our family. This is my stepson, my husband Mark's son Patrick, and his wife Tina, and their brand new baby girl. She was born at the end of 1999, and 6 weeks later, Patrick woke up one morning with some blood blisters in his mouth. He went to the doctor, they ran a blood test, and determined that he had an extremely low platelet count. Patrick was admitted to the hospital with a diagnosis of the autoimmune disease ITP. Well, Mark and I were very concerned about this, of course, and we flew to Texas where they lived and thought that he'd be in the hospital for a few days and we would be there to help with the brand new baby and, of course, have some time with the family. Well, Patrick became increasingly ill, and fortunately we were able to spend all of our time in the hospital with him, but at the end of 8 weeks he passed away. Well, all I can tell you is we had been on an emotional roller coaster for those 8 weeks, and suddenly it was over. Now what do we do? Well, we got together with Tina right after he died and started talking about how in the world we could fill that gaping hole in our hearts that his death had caused, and what could we do to keep his very special spirit alive? What positive thing could we hold on to out of those 8 weeks? Well, there was only one positive thing, and that was the care of Patrick's nurses. We expected that they would be excellent from a clinical standpoint, and they were. But what we didn't expect was the way they delivered their care. Patrick's nurses were so compassionate, so thoughtful, so sensitive, not only to him, but to all of us in our family. And when he died, we knew we had to find a way to say thank you for what nurses do each and every day. Not just their clinical excellence, but especially the art of nursing, the compassion they show through the little things that nurses do each day to take care of patients and family members. So we created the Daisy Foundation. DAISY is an acronym for Diseases Attacking the Immune System, and it keeps us rooted in the experience that we had with Pat's nurses. We then created the Daisy Award for Extraordinary Nurses as a way to honor and celebrate extraordinary compassionate care all year long. So the stories of what nurses do, the little things that nurses take for granted, could be spotlighted, highlighted, and made a really big deal about so that nurses would know how much we as patients and families appreciate and respect them, and how grateful we are. Well, some years ago, we decided we needed to extend the Daisy Award to nursing students because, after all, students are doing work and taking care of patients and families, and very often they were being nominated for the Daisy Award by a patient who didn't know one way or the other if they were a practicing nurse, a licensed nurse, or if they were still in school. So we wanted to celebrate and encourage the work that nurses do when they are students, as well as when they are registered nurses. That's why we now have the Daisy Award for Extraordinary Nursing Students, and I'm so delighted that now I can turn this presentation back over to your School of Nursing to find out who is being honored today. So long, and thank you.
Voted by the faculty and the clinical faculty, this year's Daisy Award goes to Ms. Genevieve Oka. You could just stand there. Okay. Genevieve Oka has been a stellar student academically. You can advance to the next slide, please. Thank you. She has shared her knowledge and passion for the profession of nursing with her peers. Genevieve currently serves as co-president of Alpha Delta Nu Honor Society, vice president of Student Nurses Association, and chairperson of the Nursing Peer Mentoring Program, where she was vital in its planning and the inaugural launch this fall. Her knowledge base and passion for the profession and advocacy for student success is well respected among her peers. Genevieve is also a peer tutor, guided student group leader. Students reach out to specifically to Genevieve for guidance in their courses, for her steadfast support and encouragement for how she presents materials, for her guidance in their courses. She strikes a balance in holding them accountable while inspiring them to be their best. Her teachers feel Genevieve's holistic approach to caring for her peers and her patient-centered care renders a human connection that is unique and extraordinary in making a difference. She personally serves her community as a Bible teacher volunteer. Besides launching the mentoring program, her other service hours were contributed to Oktoberfest and Young Hearts for Life. Please join me in congratulating Genevieve Oka on receiving the Fall 2021 Student Daisy Award at the College of DuPage. Genevieve will receive a certificate with a Daisy Student Award, as well as a healing sculpture that represents the Daisy Award for extraordinary nursing students. And due to COVID-19 restrictions, this award will be shipped to Genevieve. Congratulations, Genevieve. At this time, we'd now like to recognize our graduates. Names will be read by Professor Donna Kanik and Professor Julie Garcia. And students will be pinned by Professor Julie Alvin, Ann Copel, Melissa McGovern, Judy Carino, and Dr. Sarah Bourne. So at this time, if we can have our first row of graduates to be pinned, to please stand.
Our first group of graduates will be pinned by Professor Julie Alvin. Tiffany Allendog. Sam Altabar, who is unable to be with us this morning. Jessica Davalos. Jessica Diaquino. Sylvia Delgado. Linda Flores. Anthony Gensa. Olgina Genie, who is unable to be with us this morning. Karina Gonzalez. Lila Huck, who is also unable to be with us this morning. Our next group of graduates will be pinned by Professor Ann Copel. Matthew Idler. Abby Janish. Julia Kamaisik. Ula Kanopko. Denise Jimenez. John Kovalev. Emily Kuchera. Lance LaCour, who also is unable to be with us this morning. Roxana Leva. Gabby Messinas. Jeanette Macias. Our next group will be pinned by Professor Melissa McGovern. George Manavis. Kelly Mangerson, who also is unable to be with us this morning. Kimberly Marine. Viviana Martinez. Evelyn Maya. Gianna McComb, who also is unable to be with us this morning.
Danielle McKay. Mariah Meyer. Shannon Meyer. Nina Melinda. Students will now be pinned by Judy Carino. Dorina Matpan. Cindy Wen. Genevieve Oka. Christina Olagi. Hannah Osman. Vicky Palschmitas was not able to make it here today. Matthew Pasieta. Michelle Pasqua. Bree Writing. Danielle Rome. Students will now be pinned by Dr. Sarah Bourne. Cindy Reiser. I'm sorry, Candy Reiser. I'm sorry. Mariola Sosa Kim. Alyssa Spingola was not able to make it here today with us. Abdullah Syed. Virginia Travis. Cameron Utria Ramirez. Keanu Ventura. Nashona Walker. Kate Ward was not able to make it here today with us. Mallory Wiley. Monica Williams. Lindsay Woodward was not able to make it here with us today. And finishing our morning strong, Nicholas Yanku.
Thank you. A round of applause for our graduates. Woohoo! Congratulations, everyone. And then a special thank you to Carol Allen, campus minister from Benedictine, who did our blessing of the hands. Now, please sit back and enjoy great memories of the fall class of 2021. great memories, everyone. Okay, if we can have the lights. Well, actually, we'll be dimming them soon again. Graduating nurses, please join me now, if you would stand, in the candle lighting ceremony. Candle or lamp lighting commemorates Florence Nightingale's history of helping wounded soldiers at night by candlelight. I now also invite Professor Melissa McGovern, who will be leading in the reciting of the Nightingale Pledge shortly. Will all of you now please stand, and we will start the candle lighting ceremony. Will all the registered nurses in the audience and those watching from home please join us in the reciting of the Nightingale Pledge, led by Associate Professor Melissa McGovern.
I solemnly pledge myself before God and in the presence of this assembly to pass my life in purity and to practice my profession faithfully. I shall abstain from whatever is deleterious and mischievous, and shall not take knowingly administer any harmful drug. I shall do all in my power to maintain and elevate the standard of my profession, and will hold in confidence all the personal matters committed to my keeping and all family affairs coming into my knowledge in the practice of my calling. I shall be loyal to my work and devoted towards the welfare of those committed to my care.
Thank you. You may blow out your candle. Or turn off your candle. In closing, you may be seated. In closing, I'd like to thank all of you here and at home joining us for this glorious celebration of the graduates' accomplishment and their rite of passage into the nursing profession. Please stay safe and healthy. Enjoy the holiday. May God bless you. And congratulations once again to the fall 2021 nursing class. Congratulations. Thank you, graduates. You will be processing out.